the Town of Ashford Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Monday, June 9th, at, again, 7:02. I see Cheyenne is here for a recording. Thank you, Cheyenne. Um, Meeting's called to order, the seating of alternates. Alex is here as an alternate, so we can seat him for Tom Hastings. So Alex Castillo for Tom Hastings. And no other alternates, so that gives us currently, and I believe Luther is going to try and join us late. He was stuck in traffic. I guess 44 is closed down up by 97 for some reason. So he's in that. So that gives us a quorum of 7 members to move forward with. And approval of minutes from the May 12th meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Jerry motions. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Nord.
Yeah, thank you, Nord. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor of accepting the minutes from May 12th, 2025 meeting signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Abstentions?
Alex abstained.
Thank you, Alex. Okay. Moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment from those in attendance for items that well, normally would not be no hearing items. There's nothing pending for a meeting except for new business on PZC 25-2. So an item. Yes. Mr. Krieger.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention again, the May minutes are not on the website.
You know, I saw that too. And I know we had a problem with getting those put
Last time.
together. Yeah. So
Anyway, just wanted to let you know.
thank you very much. We'll get those
Thanks, Shaggy.
posted. The video is there though for the
Okay.
minutes, correct?
I didn't look.
I believe if it has the little media insignia, that means the video recorded minutes are available by clicking on that.
Okay.
The town
Thank
clerk, this is Mark Schnobel, the town clerk does have a hard copy of the minutes.
Okay, so we just need to get those on line. Thank you, Mark. Any other comment? May minutes. Moving on. Thank you. Bills. We did receive a bill from the Chronicle for $281.39 for one of the postings of our hearing results. No other bills submitted. Correspondence. We did receive a correspondence from Jeff Gordon, Senator Jeff Gordon, our state senator, regarding planning and zoning. It's a House Bill HB 5002. He has a letter that's been posted by Mike, and he discusses specifically how he feels it would affect Ashford. I encourage everyone to read that correspondence. I'm not going to read that 2-page plus letter into the record. It is available on the website in our meeting materials. However, I'll also reference that Mike had shared with me a more in-depth itemized review of House Bill 5002 regarding affordable housing. And that's by CROG, so the Capital Region Organization of Governments. And the only stipulation is that Mike is attending a session. Our CEO is attending a session this Friday. And once he has that, he's going to have one of the better ideas of what might be a middle of the road, less political statement regarding the House bill itself. And even CROG's itemized is very, very good, but we'll have that available. You can probably go onto the CROG website too, but once Mike has attended his session, we will make that CROG available and probably post it onto our meeting material so that one can look at the breakdown, the full breakdown of the requirements of this new affordable housing. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, we will move on. Uh, There is no public hearing for tonight, so we can move on from there. And I'll keep looking for new members if they join. Moving on to unfinished business. So under unfinished business, we've got POCD update. And Janet and Mark, jump in at any time. Feel free. My POCD review is simply that we have the subcommittee has approximately 90% of the agency sections completed and put together. We're actually starting to see the semblance of a document. We've identified updates to maps, tables, and figures with Tyche. So they're going to be going through all of those, making sure they have basically maps and figures that if there are updates available that aren't 10 years old at this point from 2015. And again, those tables and figures, what we wanted to keep, what we wanted taken out, what the agencies felt was more important. And the group is also working on vision statements, our introduction, and the tying of interwoven or underlying themes of the 5 items that were of great import to our citizens, and trying to make this a cohesive document that addresses those issues that are very important to our citizens. We are also working on a section on how to handle our implementation plan and updates, how frequently we'll be doing updates and reviews and such. And I would say, and if I'm wrong on this, Janet, Mark, beat me soundly about the Head and Shoulders. The goal is to have a document for review for PZC members, potentially for our July meeting, which would be about 5 weeks from now. Again, this wouldn't be all the whistles and bells, all the photos and things like that, but would have the meat of the document put together for us to review with the commission. Ideally, getting it posted for you early so you can review it at your leisure, and then we can kind of get into the documents itself instead of presenting it to you only at the meeting. We'll have it there ahead of time, would be the plan, if you will. That's kind of my update. Janet, Mark, did you have anything you wanted to share with the group?
I thought that was very well said, Jeff. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Janet.
No, this is Mark. I concur. I think you covered it.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. The one comment I really like to add is that all viewpoints are really being represented at this our subcommittee, and I'm very proud of that fact that we have a very balanced, or at least trying to be balanced, look at what the needs of the town are, and possibly with vision statements how we can accomplish that. So again, kudos to the subcommittee who meet. I mean, May, yeah, I gave them a little bit of break in May, but they've been working very, very hard weekly. We've been meeting on this. So again, I appreciate all their efforts. Moving on, for commission discussion, Section 317D, short-term rental regulations. Mike just recently posted this, so if you want to access it yourself on the meeting materials, but I'm going to bring this up on my computer here. Can everyone see?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, let me get it to a There we go. So again, talking about short-term rentals. Um, the first few slides, I won't go into much detail. You can check those out on your own. It's things everyone are really familiar with. It has our definitions in our current regs of a short-term rental. Short-term rental hosted, short-term rental unhosted. I can point out that under short-term rental hosted and unhosted, we never really defined primary place of residence, and we've actually received some feedback from our general counsel as to when we try and do something like that, we are really zoning regulating the use and or we're regulating the user and not the use of the land. So we have some issues with that we really need to take a look at in our regulations themselves. Uh, Continued, we talk about the owner operators and getting the zoning permit in an RA zone, the name of the property owner residing on the premises, lots outside the RA zone, name and contact information of property manager, um, uh, number of persons allowed in, short-term rental of a room occurs in RA zone. Uh, then the property must be the primary residence of the owner. So again, that primary residence of the owner uh, can be potentially an issue for us. Um, And then the current regs going into the first permit issued can be revoked by the zoning enforcement officer, receives information in the form of complaints, documentation, photographs, witness non-compliance with the regulations by the permittee, uh, uh, and activity or condition that interferes with the owner or butter's reasonable and lawful use. Um, Accessory dwelling, parking and such. Um, I'm really hoping to get to the commission discussion. Uh, our current regulations present issues from an application and an enforcement standpoint. We are having a very difficult time in doing enforcement and compliance when it comes to everything from the application, renewing your application. Uh, we have various states of compliance or non-compliance in there. We have obviously an application that was never renewed and they continue to operate. We have applications that are or are not meeting the requirements we have of frequency of rental in any period of time and such. Uh, so again, it's when we talk about operators express frustration, so the people even operating them are frustrated with some of the regs with extensive limitations on unhosted rentals. Uh, Residents indicating operators may be exceeding the number of allowable rentals or may not be the current primary residence requirement. And limitations, again, to the frequency of the rental are very challenging to observe if we're trying to trying to gain compliance or trying to make sure that we can enforce compliance along those lines. So in doing so, we've looked at a couple of options. I added a third option to my notes, but we'll talk about those options. Option one, modifying the current regulations to be more functional by allowing more frequent rentals and removing standards of primary residence. Again, as I mentioned, comes from our town attorney advice of zoning regulates the use, not the user of the property. They own the property. So their use of it is, you know, we can't make them live there, but we can make sure they use it properly. And it leads to standards that are unenforceable. This would also include, for me, this would also include things we talked about previously, application process, and the application itself and the application process, making it more, giving it more teeth, giving it more meat to have more buy-in from the applicant and requirements of the applicant. Um, Another item that came up that could be built into the regs is a sign off by either if the home is being done if the rental is being done in a lake association area, governed by lake association, or in an HOA. I don't know if there are any HOAs here in town. I mean, the lake associations act as HOAs in some form or another. But again, having a sign off by those groups, having them have some policing power, some enforcement power when it comes to short-term rental applications. The second option is increase in compliance standards and regulatory requirements. This would come along with recommending the Board of Selectmen consider the adoption of citation fine ordinance as an additional enforcement tool. This would be, and the hard part is finding someone not in compliance. The easier part is if we had an ordinance in place that would allow us to issue fines. Right now, our only course of action is immediately to taking what, if we can find and prove non-compliance, then taking it to court and having the cease and desist and going to court and dealing with all the legal fees and things like that. Again, a recommendation for the Board of Selectmen with a citation fine would be similar to finding them in non-compliance and then issuing a daily fine until they become back into compliance. $100 a day, whatever it is, until they're compliant. There is a third option, and a number of towns have exercised this third option. The third option is to rescind our current regs entirely uh, and doing one of two things, waiting until there's more direction and guidance from the state when it comes to short-term rentals, or leaving the enforcement to, as I said, in the HOA or lake association for these short-term rental areas. I'd say 90% of our issues, or greater, 95%, happen in the lake association areas. And we don't have a lot of guidance on this. We're kind of picking and choosing and looking at what other towns are doing or the hearsay coming from the state. But there's really, in talking with Ken Slater most recently, there's really still, except for that one Supreme Court decision, state Supreme Court decision, there's really been nothing from our uh, state legislatures at this point on this. So those are the slides I had. I see Mark has his hand up. Mark, did you want to make a statement or discussion? Issue?
No discussion, so Mike's
Yep.
not here to, I guess, answer the question, but recalling from previous conversations, if we were to rescind our current regulations, if I understood Mike's description earlier, if people started to rent their property as a Airbnb on a regular frequent basis, and then we were to go back and create regulations, then effectively they'd be grandfathered in because they started renting it while we didn't have regulations. If I, as a synopsis, as I recall, so I don't think I'm in favor of rescinding. I agree that requiring primary residency is problematic from a legal standpoint. And I don't want to speak for Janet, but I think part of the reasoning behind drafting the regulations initially was to try to avoid investor-only properties that would be looking to rent the homes on a 52-week basis, week by week. But yet we didn't want to deter the ability of an owner to generate a little extra income by renting their lake property. So I think I liked option 2 in some form. And I don't know if my recollection is correct on
I believe, yeah, I believe you are correct on that, Mark, when it came to groups that have already started the process. And if we were to rescind, then that activity for anyone new coming in,
Right. And I
we
think
would
that was the
be more
impetus for
coverage.
trying to get some type of regulation on the book originally,
Right,
knowing that
right.
modification would be required in the future.
There we go.
Hi, Janet.
I I couldn't find my raised hand.
I see
Um,
it right here.
yeah, I basically agree with what Mark said. Several things. One is, since it's not legally viable, I think we need to remove the owner primary use owner occupied
Mhm.
requirements. Um, and I think adopting number two, adopting some fine ordinances might be a good idea. You know, the lake associations are sort of in the same position that we are now. They don't really have, they really don't have a good way to enforce anything. Um, so I think being able to issue fines might be a good idea. And I don't think we should rescind the regulations, as Mark said. That would just grandfather everyone in, I think. Yeah.
It's interesting in talking with Mike also. I just wanted to share a couple of the things we thought or he had mentioned was when it comes to if we were to rescind and we left it to, say, the lake associations for their activity, or we put in changes to our application process and required a sign off. Well, let me share with what I was putting together. I added some items to our uh, short-term rental application, the extended version that we had discussed before. And let me get into sharing here. Share. Okay. So, couple of things that I've added and I've highlighted in yellow here. Um, and again, we're very early stages. Mike was going to investigate this with both our finance office and uh, the selectman's office. But our fees right now, I think our fee is 310 or something like that, and we are looking at our fees. So these are placeholders for right now, if you will. Can everyone see my document here? I should check on that.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
no?
No.
No, don't have it.
Oh, well, then you don't know what the heck I'm talking about here. Let's try this again. Zoom meeting. There you are. How about I hit screen? There we go. Whoops. Need to get back out of here. Excuse me. And where's all my items here? You're sharing my screen. Okay. It's not the screen I want. Like I said, I don't have mic right now, so I'm going to stop this. I'm going to do this. There we go. Whoop. That's not what I wanted. Let me ask, am I still in a meeting here? Are people still there?
We're all here.
Yep.
Okay, great. It
Yeah.
got so quiet. I wasn't sure. Let me start again.
Usually, since you were able to post the agenda, there's usually a drop down where you can choose which item
Right.
you're trying to display.
Okay, here we go. We'll try that. There we go. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, okay.
All right, there you go.
And it tells me that. Okay. So as I was saying, the fees here are placeholders. They're not written in stone, but one of the things we're talking about was again, skin in the game, a reason to be compliant. The initial fee for the application, short-term rental application, right now it's 310, I think. Uh, $700, 350 for the town application, and then 350 a surety bond, escrow, whatever you want to call it, that's held and returned after the first year renewal pending commission review of renewal application. So, I mean, if you've been and we can write up further requirements of that, but if you've been compliant when you come for your second year or whatever, you get that money back, your new 2-year renewal. If you have not been, and if there's a non-renewal of your application due to complaints, then both you're not going to be renewed and your money is forfeited. Don't know how legal that is. It's just something I've thrown out there. I haven't talked with Ken about it, but I know Mike was looking at the financial aspect of it. That was one item. We go farther down to in the document here. If application is for an address within any of the Lake Association districts or part of an HOA, a letter of approval for the short-term rental by the Lake Association Board or HOA Board, including any limitations of access to shared service areas. This was another limitation that might help the Lake Association to have a hand in compliance. Any of the shared areas are not part of the ownership of someone having that rental. So they would not have access to the beach. They would not have access to the boat launch. I don't know what other common areas there are potentially to deal with there. And I don't know if you have any of those amenities at this Ashford Lake, Janet. Are there those amenities there?
Yes, there's two Lake Association beaches.
Okay. So again, that's a measure of compliance or a measure of maintaining compliance for someone, or potentially for not having the rentals there. Uh, Moving on, I think I just added a few initials. Again, please initial. Um, Annual review, ZEO agent or resident state trooper, right to inspect, cease rental of the property. They're aware of that. Um, and again, I just highlighted this in blue because in here we do have the section regarding the limitation on the number of rentals and such in a period of time. Something to look at. Yes, Mark, your hand. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, was Ken Slater okay with having an application such as this, or is he not aware?
Oh, no, except for some of the additions I've made, he actually was in favor of the
Okay. Yep.
extended
No, thank you.
requirement.
Yep.
Thank you. Again, a few more areas of please initial again. So they've acknowledged some of the requirements of this. And again, I am reacting to what I've heard for some unvalidated complaints from members of the public regarding some of the current short-term rentals, everything from parking to noise to animal waste, crossing over of properties and things like this. Number of rentals being done by some of these. I think Mike has only gotten one or two really official complaints, but there's nothing of a validated standpoint. It's kind of a hearsay until there's some type of documentation. But again, a guest register in here to be maintained so that there's some listing that can be reviewed and turned into the compliance, the ZEO office. So that was just another way, again, of gaining further compliance, as I said. And again, thank you, Mark, for even bringing that up. We did share it with Ken, and he didn't have any issue, at least with the previous one. Now we've added a few other things. Obviously, we need to have him take a look at it, especially when it comes to the financial issue And I believe he's the one who brought up the shared services with the lake associations and such too, as a limiting factor for some of the short-term rentals. So
He says that we would add that, or that's already in place?
that could be a potential addition to
It
having
could
the
be, okay.
to having the lake association sign off, as well as limiting access by the lake association with their sign off in their letter,
Mhm.
if should they care to implement that. Any other discussion or input from anyone? That's Go ahead,
Jeff?
Jerry. Yeah, Jerry.
Is it possible to get a copy of these new short-term regulations? What you just showed us?
Oh, the application?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to run a couple of them by Ken, those additions by Ken first, to make sure I'm not telling tales out of school, and make sure everything's okay. Plus, I want to get Mike's feedback from the charges and things like that. But once we get that put together, yes, definitely we'll get it posted
Yeah.
as meeting material.
Yeah, because I have a board meeting for the Lake Association on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'll try and get Ken's input. I'll send it over to him with those changes and see if he can give some input on those. As for well, Mike might know something. He's going to be in the office tomorrow, so I'll check with him and see what we can do about getting you something. If not, maybe we'll just redact and send you what we had previously.
Okay, that would be
Okay.
great. Thank you.
You said that was Wednesday night?
Correct.
Thank you.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Okay. Anything else from anyone?
I liked your additions, Jeff. I thought they make sense.
Good, because I'm not sure. No, thank you very much.
Mark Shinool, I agree with Janet.
Okay. All right. Again, just trying to get some more teeth in this, because we do still have, even with ordinances and fines and such, that can be issued by the ZEO and stuff. But when it comes to the compliance and getting the documentation we need for compliance, it's kind of difficult with uh, I don't want to say a one-person staff, but the ZEO group that isn't there day in and day out and able to um, verify. Heck, I even started looking into police forces and constables and things like that, but that's way down the road and out of my lane. So, um, okay. So I've heard from a few members about, adding in the ordinances and modifying, maybe a combination of one and two. Is that what we're really thinking about? Uh, adding some, modifying the current regs, making it more functional, as well as adding in the ordinances. Is that what I'm pulling away here, coming away with?
I think so. I think so.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Um, Mike had on here an item, and I think we're going to have to table this because I don't have a fresh copy of this checklist since we last did it. Has anyone had any opportunity to review the application checklist? I think we liked it before, what was there. I didn't think there were many changes or anything. Does anyone have any discussion on that? I don't think it was posted with our meeting material. I think this might be a carryover from,
Yeah, I just have what we had from last month.
right. Yeah, I think this was a carryover. So, again, unless anyone has any objections, I'd like to move to table this to our next meeting.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds
I'll
good.
make, I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Janet. Is there a second?
I'll second
Second.
Alex.
Alex seconds. All those in favor of tabling the application form to next meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Say aye. All those opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Okay, very good. Item of new business. This is simply a receipt of an application, and the receipt is in regard to our PZC 25 2, a text amendment application to establish section 320.2 as a new special development district known as the Planned Rural Development District, or PRDD. That's Planning and Zoning Commission. Again, we went through this the last time, and Mike had made any changes and additions to it. And we'd like to take this to basically receive the application so we can take it to public hearing. We were hoping to maybe do it for this period, but the timeframes didn't fall out. We have submitted to CROG, we have submitted to NECOG for this change. And our next meeting on the 14th will give them plenty of time and allow them the 30-day approval time process they have. So, do I have a motion to receive? the
Motion to
application?
receive.
Jerry, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second Alex.
Alex seconds. Any discussion, further discussion on the receipt of this application for hearing? Hearing none, all those that approve receipt of the application signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? So moved. They'll have it on our next agenda for a hearing next month. All right, coming to the zoning officer's report, Mike did provide, and again, it is in the meeting materials. I don't have a lot of his report or anything. He did provide some training opportunities for the commissioners, for land use commissioners. Again, this is in the meeting material, so I'll just touch upon it briefly. June 12th, there is an affordable housing. I don't think it's the same one he's attending. Affordable housing and 8-30G obstacles and opportunities webinar. It's a free seminar, and there is a link in the document that he posted online for anyone who wishes to attend that.
You know what the time is? I didn't click on the link, but I didn't see a time listed.
I don't have it listed in
Okay.
here, but you'll probably find out better on the link.
Okay,
So,
yep, that's fine.
and this is good for 1 hour of fair and affordable housing training. Also on June 18th, Community Renewable Energy Siting Tool Introduction and Demonstration Webinar. Again, cost is free. This is by Crest. And there is a link for this also in that document. And the third opportunity is July 16th, and it's in person. This is kind of far away. This is in Haddam at the Middlesex County Extension Center. It is Fundamentals of Site Plan Review, a workshop, and it's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There is a cost. Again, you can submit the cost if you are interested in going to this. Of $20, and the registration deadline is July 10th. And there is a link for that. This is good for 2 hours of general commission training, and there's a link for registering for that. And there's also this same training will be offered in the evening on July 24th. Again, Fundamentals of Site Plan Review Workshop, the same site in Haddam, $20 cost. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. with a registration deadline of July 18th. And again, that has a link on that. So some opportunities for training. We will probably be reaching out to our commissioners to verify their hours of training, make sure we're up to speed. We'll be doing that for between now and next July, or the next July meeting, and just making sure where we are. And so please take advantage if you still have training outstanding. Please take advantage of maybe some of those, especially some of the website webinars, so you don't have to travel to Haddam. That is it. Kind of a light lift on this meeting for tonight. I'm sure that breaks everyone's heart. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Jerry. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Janet. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Yeah, you don't have the guts to oppose. Any abstentions? Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention on this. We'll have a heavier lift next month with the hearing on the text amendment, as well as hopefully, knocking on wood, some review of the POCD by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So again, we will try and get that out and into your hands as quickly as possible, at least some document for review, even if it's in partial, some of the sections to go over and get your feedback. So again, thank you for your time, and everyone be safe.
Thank you.
Joe,
Aye.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
Bye.